This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Hi there, I'm Sarah Donji in for Juliette today. In addition to the government shutdown, we are inching closer to another deadline. A federal tax credit for electric cars expires after today, which means starting tomorrow that EVs could cost thousands of dollars more. Buyers have been rushing to get in on the deal before it goes away. Car dealers are also rethinking their sales strategy. Brad Hamilton checked in with a dealership in Oakland.
For car buyers and sellers alike, the last day of the EV tax credit was a busy one indeed, except for one Oakland dealership who had no problem beating the buzzer.
Absolutely. Grab one of these last few. That's it. After tonight, it's over.
Daniel Cossett has been selling cars for years, and he thought he'd seen every promotion.
Oh, I mean, there's always the, end of the month, you're going to get the best deal, and there's some truth to that.
But what's happened over the last few months at Audi Oakland even had this general manager sales shocked.
In 20 years of being in the car business, I've never seen a genuine time where there's going to be such a shift in pricing.
And it's all because of the soon expiring federal EV tax credit, first introduced in 2009 and modified in 2022 under the Inflation Reduction Act. The incentive put a dent in the cost of buying all electric, $7,500 for new, $4,000 for used. Earlier this year, the Trump administration's Big Beautiful Bill set in motion the end of this deal, and that end date is today. Daniel says a month ago, they had around 75 electric cars on the lot. Today, almost none.
And incentives like this come out, once they go away, they never come back.
And it appears this deal will suffer the same fate. Governor Gavin Newsom has already confirmed there won't be a state rebate replacing the lost credit. Daniel won't speak for other dealers, but says they're gearing up to sell more gas cars.
Audi, they were really betting on, about 60% of their sales this year in California being EV. So obviously that is adjusting and pivoting, and, there will be more gas units just because of price and affordability.
For now, this day marks the end of a promotion that drove buyers into showrooms and car after car off the lot. No one can predict what comes next. But based on Daniel's experience, his message to buyers is this.
If you want an EV, come in right now. But we'll see what tomorrow brings. We'll see how the incentives change and adjust. But I can definitely safely say that, it'll cost you more tomorrow to buy an EV than it will today.
The last-minute rush of people wanting to take advantage of this is expected to drive EV sales up nationwide. Cox Automotive forecasts a 21% jump in the third quarter compared to the same time last year. All right, now we turn to the other incredibly closely watched deadline. Less than 2 hours to go until the federal government runs out of money. It is looking more and more like we will see a shutdown since lawmakers on Capitol Hill have not come to a deal yet. And they're openly doing this, pointing the finger at the other side, each of them. A government shutdown would mean that Fleet Week here in San Francisco would go on without some of its main attractions. U.S. Navy ships and military planes would be grounded, including the Blue Angels, which is a huge draw every year. International ships and the Canadian snowbirds are still confirmed to perform, though, but the lack of U.S. military participants has some people rethinking whether they're going to come out at all.
If you're in the military for, X amount of years and this is your opportunity to be involved in a thing like Fleet Week here in San Francisco, then I guess I would feel bad if they didn't get the opportunity to enjoy it.
I think it's annoying. I feel like the politicians should be able to figure it out and come to some kind of consensus. I don't know why we have to pay for their lack of being able to do that.
Last year, Fleet Week brought in an estimated $10 million to the local economy. National parks like Alcatraz and Muir Woods could also be affected. Former parks officials wrote a letter asking the Trump administration to close them down. The last time the government shut down under the Trump administration, the parks stayed open, but there was little to no staffing, and that led to all kinds of problems. We're told trash piling up, illegal camping, and other issues. Now, as for other impacts, if the government shuts down, Social Security checks will keep going out, but services could be affected. All non-essential workers will be sent home. Members of the military, federal law enforcement, TSA agents, and air traffic controllers would have to keep working, but without pay, which is obviously incredibly problematic for many, many people. The last government shutdown was also under President Trump. It started in December of 2018, and it lasted 34 days. That was the longest in history. The hang-up was centered around funding for the president's border wall. President Trump addressed a rare gathering of top military leaders in Quantico, Virginia today. He and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth laid out a new vision for the military, which included threatening to send more troops to Democratic-run cities, including San Francisco.
San Francisco, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, they're very unsafe places, and we're going to straighten them out one by one. And this is going to be a major part for some of the people in this room. That's a war, too. It's a war from within. I told Pete we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military.
So President Trump has publicly said things like this about San Francisco before, along with the city of Oakland. Mayor Daniel Lurie was asked about the president's comments today. He said he cannot control what comes out of Washington. He can only focus on his city and the work that he has been doing to keep San Franciscans safe. He added that overall crime is down 30% in the city. Now, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said he was using today's speech to fix decades of decay in the military. He went after physical standards for combat and diversity, equity, and inclusion programs.
No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. As I've said before, and will say again, we are done with that.
John Ramos watched the speech with a veteran from the East Bay and has their reaction to the proposed changes to the military.
Here in San Francisco, people may have a different view of the role of the military than, say, Middle America. But the military draws from all over the country, and Secretary Hegseth made it clear that things are about to change.
Ever since, including by our first commander-in-chief.
Pete Hegseth began his speech to the assembled heads of the military by welcoming them to the Department of War, and he made it clear what their new mission was.
To ensure peace, we must prepare for war. From this moment forward, the only mission of the newly restored Department of War is this: warfighting, preparing for war and preparing to win.
From his apartment in San Francisco, Mike Higgins watched the address. He was stationed in Berlin in the late 90s before the wall fell, and he said it was chillingly familiar to his surroundings.
Wow, that's all I said. I was like, wow, and I thought of Hitler. That's what I thought.
Hegseth called out the armed forces for lowering their standards for what he said were political and inclusionary reasons.
This administration has done a great deal from day one to remove the social justice, politically correct, and toxic ideological garbage that had infected our department, to rip out the politics. No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses.
And he ordered training to increase the physical fitness of service members.
It's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look.
Retired Army Major Mike Lyons supported that message.
I think this shift is long overdue, frankly, and normally it comes from the different services themselves. And it's the first time I've seen a Secretary of War make this kind of buck up, let's say. That's what we would call something like this. The bottom line is he's all about standards, reinforcing how you look. You've got to look like you're a soldier, no more beards. So I think overall that's a good thing. It's a net positive, because I do believe the military did slip away from that for the past, let's say, generation.
The new directives would require women to meet the same standards as men. Higgins doesn't object to higher physical standards, but he wonders if it will eliminate women and tech-gifted men at a time when warfare is becoming more technology-based. But more than anything, he says he's scared that the intention seems to be aimed at preparing the country for a war.
You know, he wants somebody to throw the first punch so that we can go to war, because he's eager for it. That's just all I saw. Are we getting ready for World War III? Because there's not going to be a winner. The world's not going to survive a World War III. I mean, everybody knows that. They know that. So I don't know what the hell they're thinking.
Every day we have to be prepared for war, not for defense. We're training warriors, not defenders. We fight wars to win, not to defend. We fight to win. We unleash overwhelming and punishing violence on the enemy. Lethality is our calling card, and victory our only acceptable end state.
We have a War Department now. a War Department, because that's what we're going to do. Secretary of Defense opens his speech up with talking about Rome. Rome fell, you know. Hey, that's not something that I want to do. I don't want America to fall.
Most U.S. military branches met or exceeded their recruitment goals for the current fiscal year. That is a turnaround from the previous 2 years. All right, up next, one Bay Area city is trying to dole out a harsher punishment for sideshows by doubling fines. Accused of taking potential evidence and then dumping it, the second arrest announced today in Walnut Creek's double homicide.
Had some showers this morning, have some showers out there right now, but the showers this morning led to this viewer picture. Thank you to David and Denise Hamilton for snapping a picture. You can see the faint double rainbow visible from Napa, and we've got plenty more rain in the forecast tonight and tomorrow. A wet start to October coming up at First Alert Weather.
Walnut Creek police have arrested a second person as part of a double homicide investigation. The gunman's girlfriend, Yan Wang, was charged with allegedly breaking into the crime scene to destroy evidence. The suspect, Howard Wang, was arrested earlier this month on charges of murdering his wife and his mother-in-law. Authorities say that days after the killing, the suspect directed his girlfriend back to the crime scene. There, she allegedly gathered bags of potential evidence that police caught her dumping in the city of Oakland. Now, although they share a last name, Howard and Yan Wang are not married and they're not related. Both are being held in Martinez, and investigators think there are not any outstanding suspects. San Francisco may soon be levying heavier fines for sideshows and street takeovers. A new ordinance proposed today would double the maximum fine to $1,000 for misdemeanor sideshow offenses. Supervisor Danny Sauter is behind the proposal and says the increased fines would align with San Francisco ordinances, would align the city of San Francisco with other ordinances in other cities in the Bay Area. The Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors just approved a partnership with the city of San Jose aimed at speeding up housing and expanding services for the homeless. This comes as San Jose continues to clear out RV encampments. Today we saw police telling people to leave the area of Lenfest Road and Las Plumas Avenue. People were out moving their RVs. At one point, we saw a few RVs get towed or being pulled out by a forklift. San Jose has 2 safe parking sites, but both are full. The proposal for a city and county partnership approved today aims to boost health services at interim housing sites and speed up permanent placements. Okay, let's talk a little bit about weather. And lately we've been talking a good amount about rain. I know not a lot of rain, but at least some.
But in September, that's kind of remarkable just by itself, even if it's a few sprinkles. And we'll get considerably more than that as we start the month of October tomorrow. Hard to believe.
Wow.
That's already here.
Oh, the bills are due again.
The bills are due again. You got to start thinking about Halloween costumes for the kids, all that kind of stuff. Let's take a look at what's ahead as we head into spooky season. Yeah, I never really get into that, but some people do. Let's take a look at what's on the satellite, and plenty of cloud cover over most of the west coast. The heart of the storm system is farther up to our north. That's driving the bulk of the moisture into the Pacific Northwest, but we're seeing enough of it here on the southern fringe of the storm system that we are going to be seeing a good chance of showers as we head through tonight into tomorrow. Let's zoom in for a closer look. This is the current view on First Alert Doppler, and there are some showers that are actually hitting the ground, now moving into the North Bay, specifically into Sonoma and Marin counties. And a little bit of activity is trying to sneak into San Francisco itself. This is light to moderate shower activity, nothing that's going to significantly slow you down if you have some Tuesday evening plans hitting the roads. A few sprinkles in the East Bay as well. A couple of light sprinkles around Concord within the last 15-20 minutes or so. And there's more rain that's showing up offshore. Let's switch over to Futurecast. And as we head through the rest of tonight, it's going to be intermittent shower activity. It's got a good handle on the first band of moisture moving in, becoming more widespread and a little more intense as we head towards sunrise tomorrow. It's not going to necessarily be a washout for the morning commute, but maybe allow an extra 5 or 10 minutes extra just to be on the safe side. The roads can become slick whenever they're wet. We're going to see that rain coming at us in waves throughout the day tomorrow. Second wave moving in around midday tomorrow, and that rain is going to move from west to east across the entire Bay Area as we head through tomorrow afternoon. After about 5 o'clock tomorrow evening, though, the last band of rain is going to move off to the east, and we're already going to be drying out as we head through the evening hours on Wednesday. Total rainfall is not going to be a lot if you're comparing this to December, January storms, but for the last day of September and the first day of October, not bad. Some spots in the North Bay, Futurecast estimating anywhere from 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 inch, and some spots in that 1/2 inch to 1 inch total rainfall range. I think some of the higher elevation spots have the better chance of picking up that 1 inch of rain. And these are the highest amounts that we're going to see across the Bay Area. We look farther to the south, and the amounts are going to be much more modest. Again, the bulk of the moisture with this is going to be aimed at the Pacific Northwest. They're talking about close to 7 inches of rain for parts of the Olympic Peninsula and Washington. So we're just going to see enough for a few hundredths of an inch to maybe a 1/4 inch of rain from San Francisco southward. But again, for the 1st of October, we'll take every drop that we can get. Seeing plenty of clouds as we look at it from the top of Mount Diablo. Temperatures are only in the mid to upper 60s to around 70 degrees, but there is a noticeable level of humidity in the atmosphere out there, and that is the fuel for these showers. But it means that those comfortable temperatures don't necessarily feel all that comfortable. As we head through the day tomorrow, it is going to be an unseasonably cool day overall. Temperatures are going to be running a few degrees below average around the Bay, but closer to 10 degrees below average farther inland. Not much variation from the low to mid 70s in the Santa Clara Valley and east of the Oakland Hills to right around 70 degrees around the Bay. Upper 60s along the coast. That's normal for this time of year, but only upper 60s for the North Bay because you'll have the thickest clouds and the showers falling a little more intensely for longer during the day on Wednesday. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast, and this is the last chance of rain that we're tracking. A few clouds are going to sneak down towards us by Sunday night into Monday of next week. Don't think those are going to have any real impact on us, but we'll keep an eye on that system just in case. We are tracking a return to near normal temperatures over the first weekend of October, which means a mix of upper 70s and low to mid 80s for inland communities Saturday and Sunday, and a return to normal temperatures around the Bay. That means we warm up about 3 or 4 degrees. That's going to be about it. Up into the middle portion of the 70s over the weekend. And at the coast, your temperatures don't change very much at all, but you do see a nice mix of clouds and sunshine Friday, Saturday, and Sunday before a little more cloud cover heads our way by Monday of next week. Sarah?
All right, Paul, thanks. Coming up, it's a short week for the 49ers as they take on the Rams in LA Thursday, and Brock Purdy's status still uncertain. Matt Lively will join us with more in the Red and Gold Report. All right, the summer-long stalemate has finally come to an end. Restricted free agent Jonathan Kuminga has re-signed with the Warriors on a 2-year, $48 million contract. That includes a team option on the second year. Kuminga is expected to come off the bench to start the season. His signing also allowed the Warriors to move forward with several other free agents and fill out their 15-man roster. 49ers have a short week before heading to LA to take on the Rams on Thursday night, but they still don't know who their starting QB will be. Matt Lively has more from Santa Clara.
This is the Audi Red and Gold Report.
The 49ers usually have Tuesdays off, but this is no normal week as they head to Los Angeles to take on the Rams on Thursday Night Football. And the biggest question, will they have QB Brock Purdy? Purdy returned to the field Sunday after missing 2 games with a toe injury, but after re-aggravating the injury in the loss to Jacksonville, the Brock star did not practice Tuesday due to toe soreness. The good news is that backup Mac Jones was a full participant and should be ready to go, but the Niners aren't ruling out Purdy quite yet.
Yeah, 100%. If I can play this game, I'm going to play. And obviously, I want to get right and get healthy and everything. But we need to win this game against the Rams, so that's how I'm looking at it.
Will the decision to play Brock come down to pain tolerance?
No, it'll come down to, do we feel he could play and to 100% of his ability, and do we feel that he can protect himself with it.
If the game were tonight, you wouldn't feel ready to go?
Tonight, no, but I have 2 days.
For the Red and Gold Report, I'm Matt Lively.
Up next, San Francisco's Castro Theatre is set to reopen with a bang. The residency announced by an international star. All right, you might have seen this next story being shared widely on social media. The curtain is rising again at the Castro Theatre in San Francisco, and Grammy award-winning singer Sam Smith is set to take center stage.
Ain't no sunshine when he's gone, and this house just ain't no home.
The British superstar posted video today announcing their 8-night residency at the theater. To be free, San Francisco kicks off in February. Tickets go on sale next week. I am sure that one is going to be popular. This will be the theater's first event since it shut down for renovations in 2024. The $41 million project included fixing its neon sign and restoring the ceiling and chandelier. Thank you so much for watching. The news continues at 8 on Pix Plus or 44 Cable 12. I'll see you back here at 11.